Hello, it's the Friday Talkie. I'm looking at that stupid screen again. It's not stupid, but it's got me on it, and that's, yeah. It's got a square around my face, and mostly the square is white, but sometimes it's orange. And when it goes orange, and it's doing it now, stop it, you bastard, it's taking a photo. This thing hasn't just got facial recognition software in it, it's got smile recognition, and when I smile it automatically takes a photo. And I found this out from the last Friday Talkie, where when I went and what's the word? Whatever, dumped all the video footage onto my computer, I found there were about 20 photos as well of me. Sometimes I was smiling, sometimes I was pulling some very strange faces. I was kind of tempted to actually put some into this video, but I don't know about that. They look pretty bad. Yeah. Anyway, getting on to the subject at hand something. I've got a few topics to talk about, 3 actually. Does 3 count as a few? Who cares? First of all, Mistress... Can you hear the dog? Shut up, you barky sod. Right. Whether or not I edit that out depends on how lazy I am. Yes, Mistress Ishbo, link down there, has or is doing an awards show, YouTube Gaming Awards thing. She's got 11 categories: best game review, best console review, best comedy, best YouTuber noob of the year, best originality in a video, best animated short, most creative video, best miniseries, best podcast, best vlogger, best video editing. Brilliant idea, brings exposure to new channels you might not necessarily be aware of. I've cast my votes. Go along, cast your votes. I'm not going to say, vote for me, just vote for me. No, vote for whoever the hell you like, really. Yeah, I just want to bring the exposure to her awards thing, because I think it's a great idea. And the more people who know about it, the better, really. Yes. So kudos to Mistress Ishbo for going to the trouble of doing it. She's done these really cool, like, well, they're like Oscars, but they're gaming things. These little figurines with, well, you'll see. Go along, find out. They're cool. It's a good idea. Show your support to her and her thing and the people you want to vote for. Yes, that's what I mean. Okay. Link down there. I think I said that already. Okay, yes. I was asked... I get asked a lot of questions, actually. And some I answer and some I don't. Usually they're in PMs. I got asked one in a video. Now, this is the first time anyone's done this. Actually, it's like you get... Video responses are kind of like a reactive thing. Someone says something and someone responds. Well, I was actually asked the question. It's like preempting a video response. So I guess this is the video response by Potty127. And he asked me the question, and I will link to his video down there because it's well worth watching. He went into some detail with his question, but the gist of it is, does making gameplay videos, or no, well, just making videos on my YouTube channel, and he was asking me specifically as opposed to a general question, I think, does making these videos ever prove useful in that it's entertaining? They are entertaining for me, and I hope for you. I assume to a degree that they are, because you lot keep watching. But beyond the entertainment value and a little bit of educational value in terms of you get to see games you maybe didn't know about, do they ever prove useful? And I would say absolutely yes. Making them, it proves very useful to me, because as you'll have seen in quite a lot of my videos, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I 9 times out of 10, in fact 99 times out of 100, when I don't know what I'm doing, or if I'm doing something wrong, or if I'm even a little bit unsure about some aspect of a game, someone, sometimes many people, will tell me exactly what it is I'm doing wrong. And that proves very useful, especially if it's in a game that I actually give a crap about and want to play and want to make progress in, and I'm stuck, then yes, it really is useful. If it's a game I actually really don't give a crap about, and there are a few like that. There are a few the games I'm like, I don't like this. There. But I mean, the example he mentioned was a perfect case in point of that Hunter's Moon, where the first video I played it and I thought, this is pretty crap. There's no game here to speak of, and of course I didn't realise that it just hadn't loaded properly. So yeah, people told me, said go look at the videos, you'll see what it's meant to look like, and I played it again and found it fantastic. And if I hadn't made that video in the first place, I wouldn't have known, and I would have missed out on a fantastic game. There is another great thing about making these videos that isn't, it's kind of an indirect thing, in that it's not I make a video and someone specifically gives me useful information regarding that, but I get to meet fantastic people, either to chat with on here, pass back messages and stuff, and to meet in the real world. I have met some fantastic people that I absolutely wouldn't have met if I wasn't making these videos, and I love that aspect of it. Over the years I've had various different hobbies, sort of online, offline, where I got to meet people. It's weird actually, because I'm not a sociable person. I'm not comfortable among groups of people, really. And I kind of avoid real world social situations a lot. But I seek them out online or in the various hobbies. Like I used to be on CB radio, and that was entirely a social thing. It was all about meeting people and talking to them. And I would meet them face to face. I wasn't keen on like group meetings or whatever, but yeah, and then like IRC chat rooms and webcam chat rooms and then YouTube. It's strange. I think I just like to do my socializing in a controlled situation where you don't necessarily have to be face to face with a lot of people, but can still speak with a lot of people. Yeah, so I like that aspect of this. So yes, making videos proves very useful in that way. I get to meet and socialise with a lot of people without actually having to meet a lot of people. I think that makes sense. I know what I'm talking about. That doesn't necessarily mean anyone else does. Anyway, link to a Potty127's video down there. Now then, the big topic. The topic everyone is talking about, or rather everyone is responding to. It is 10 Things I Hate About Gaming by thesaintedmagnusshow. Link to his original video down there. I noticed him do this. Was it last? I can't remember what day he did it. Anyway, I saw that and thought, I got to respond to that. Everyone else and his dog has responded to it already, so I think I'm last to respond to it. But anyway, 10 things I hate about gaming. I had to write out a list. It was not that easy. I probably could have thought of more, but some of them, it's like the first 3 are all part of the same thing. But anyway, you'll see what I mean. Number 1, broken games. When they release a game that's, never mind not finished, it's just plain broken. It doesn't work. And I can think of quite a few. Grand Theft Auto 4, when that came out, you couldn't play it online. If you were online, it would just sit there going, duh, until they released a patch. Well, that was crap. That never, ever, ever should have been released like that. Ratchet and Clank, I can't remember which one it was. It was the first one on the PS3. When you installed it, it would not work unless you deleted something like 300 and something megabytes worth of files off of your hard drive. Then it would work. Otherwise, it sat there going, well, it just locked up. They warned me about that in the shop when I bought it. Frankly, I wish I hadn't bought it, because I thought it was a crap game anyway. I didn't like it. It wasn't my cup of tea. I shouldn't say it was a crap game. It wasn't, but it was broken, and that was crap. Never should have been released like that. God, Test Drive Unlimited 1 and 2, totally broken on the PC. Test Drive Unlimited, the first one, on my PC was absolutely broken. I had to hunt all over the place for a fix for that. And I reinstalled it on this computer again not so long ago, having forgotten all about all that crap. And it totally... it was broken again, obviously. And Test Drive Unlimited 2 again was broken on pretty much every format it was released on. I think there was a massive patch that I had to install before I could even play it when I got it for my PS3. So yeah, games that are released broken. I mean, if they had done that in the PS2 day, they would. If they'd have released a game that was broken, there were no downloads, there were no patches. You would have just had everyone taking their game back. So they had to get it right, and that's how it should be now. It should be right first time. Yes, the games are bigger, there's more detail, but largely that's the only difference. They're more detail, more complex, three-dimensional models. But games were massive on the PS2 and that kind of era, and they got it right. And I don't believe that having more detailed graphics prevents them from getting it right. They're just fucking lazy. That's issue number one. Issue number two that pisses me off. Patch after patch after patch after patch after update. Fuck me. Get it right the first time. Sell it. Leave it alone. Stop adding bits. Stop fixing bits. Stop pissing around with it. Leave it alone. Yeah, sorry. It annoys me. It does. It should not be necessary. I understand, and it's been said elsewhere, you know, it's excusable to a degree on the PC because there are so many different software or hardware possibilities that they could miss something. But on a closed platform like an Xbox 360 or a PS3, the hardware is fixed. You know what you're dealing with. It's a known quantity. There is no excuse. They're just fucking lazy. Yeah. The only time it's excusable is where there is a security flaw. I think if hackers have found a way into a game and they're stealing stuff or just, you know, security, that's the only time it's excusable, no other. So, taking both of those into account, here's the thing in that area that really, really, really pisses me off. First, I would say, I do not object to downloadable content. I think they take the piss with it now, but the concept of downloadable content to add extra features to a game as an optional extra, not so you can have the full game, but when you finish the game, here's a bit of extra. I have no problem with that. Even suggesting that you pay for it, I have no problem with that. That's like expansion packs. Back in the day, you bought your game and then you could buy an expansion pack. Fine. What I find unacceptable. And I'm going to give you the example now. This made me furious. Some of you will have been aware. I was trying to update Gran Turismo quite recently, and the update that I was trying to download was about 1.2, maybe 1.3 gigabytes. And I could not understand what the bloody hell kind of update needs to be that big. And I downloaded it, and there were a few little tweaks here and there, and for the life of me I couldn't understand why. What possible excuse was there for me having to download such a massive file to update the game when the game was largely unchanged? Anyway, I went to downloadable content because I had a while ago already paid for the Spa Francorchamps and certain other tracks, and I clicked to install the downloadable content. Click the button, bam, your content is installed. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's a massive great big 3D file, graphic files, all the shit that goes with it. 3 tracks, I think. That's big, that's enormous. You're telling me I just click and it's instantly there? They have bundled the downloadable content that you pay for into a compulsory update. So basically, whether you wanted those tracks or not, you were going to download them. You just, if you didn't pay for them, couldn't play them. No way. No way is that ever acceptable. That's like, and it happens. It's bad enough when you buy a disc and the extra content that you can pay for is already on the disc. That's pissy. I hate that. I really hate that. But when they force you to download a bloody gigabyte of software, whether you're going to buy it or not, but if you don't buy it you can't use it, but it's like carrying a bloody great big massive weight on your back in I don't know. It's like carrying a crate of beer in a rucksack and walking a mile with it, and they tell you, well, you've carried all of that now, but unless you pay for it you can't drink any of it. No, not acceptable. Makes me really, really mad. Yes. Okay. Thing number 4. I think those are the worst. Well, that one is the worst one. That really makes my blood boil. The rest lesser. Number 4. Second-hand games that are scratched to hell. Discs, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays. You buy them, you go to Game or Game Station or the little shop that I go to that I can't remember the name of. You get your game, you get it home, or maybe check it in the shop because they tend to have them behind the counter, and it works, but it's scratched to hell, and I'm like, what is so hard about put your game in your player, close the thing, play it, open it, put it back in the case, close the case, done. Are they playing frisbee with it? I don't get it. Why, when you've paid good money for a game, would you just toss it around when you know that's going to fuck it up? It's going to knacker it. 3-year-old kids, 5-year-old kids, maybe 10-year-old kids, I don't know, but I mean, God almighty, don't parents teach their kids to look after their stuff anymore? And are adults treating their stuff like this? Jesus. Is money so meaningless to some people that when they've bought something and good money has been paid for it, that they just like, nah, why should I look after that? And then sell it, and someone is going to buy that, and it might work, but God, pisses me off. 5. Games that would be fantastic but have a stupid control system which entirely ruins them. Yes, absolutely pisses me off. Nintendo, bloody Wii controller. Ugh. Yeah, I played a lot of games where, how hard can it be to put in the options? Some of them have like maybe 3 default control options. You've got layout 1, layout 2, layout 3, and they're all stupid. Like brake and accelerate are always on the triggers. Never mind where you might want them. I don't want them on the triggers. I want to use that right thumbstick. Stuff like that. I mean, so often, especially Dreamcast games, I really struggle with those because Sega loved using the triggers for stuff that I just didn't want to use the triggers for. For me, triggers are for gears up and down, and that's it. Nothing else, ever. On a driving game, anyway. Yeah, so stupid control layouts that wreck a game. Oh, yes, like actually, I mean, one of the biggest examples of that is a 3D, one of the earliest examples, 3D Defender on the Sinclair ZX81. Fantastic game, but the controls on it were mental. They just didn't. They rendered what would have been a exhilarating, if difficult, game borderline impossible, completely illogical, totally unintuitive, and it's a shame because it would have been fantastic, and in the end it was just like, it made you pull your hair out. Okay, 6. Games that are unfair. Yeah. And by this I mean, and this again is, I notice this most in racing games. Opponent cars, sometimes it's enemy because they're shooting at you. They're able to do something like get around a corner at a given speed that you just can't do. You take the same racing line as them, at the same speed as them, they get round the corner, you smack into the wall and blow up. That pisses me off. It's unfair. You should have exactly the same chance as the opposition. That pisses me off. Yeah. Oh, 7. Rubber banding in racing games. You know what I mean. You're way ahead. You're faster than them. You're better than them. And the next thing you know, they come whizzing past you, and they romp off into the distance. And then, for some inexplicable reason that you can't quite put your finger on, they slow down and you go whizzing past them, and that's the way it is all the way through the game. And so in the end, the only way you can possibly win is to go slowly behind them. They'll slow down, you slow down, and don't pass them. Whatever you do, don't pass them. Stay behind them, and then as you're coming up towards the finish line, you got to whiz past them. And you've got to time it right so that they don't have time to come whizzing past you. Rubber banding, it's stupid, it's artificial, it spoils it. If you're faster than them, you should win. Full stop, end of story. Rubber banding is for people who are crap, to give them a chance, or to keep the game lively, so you feel like, oh, this is a close race, you know, I can pass them, but it's artificial though, and it spoils it. If you're a purist in terms of racing, that wrecks a game. Taking a genre of game, or just taking a game, and adding really stupid artificial objectives. And I have a case in point, an example, which was Need for Speed Shift. I'll just use this as an example. There are other games that are like it, where it's a racing game. To me, racing is you go fast, they go fast, you try to beat them. You have a set distance or a number of laps, and that's that. That's racing. None of this, get ahead of this guy and stay there for such amount of time, or get 5 seconds ahead of this guy, or if this guy gets ahead of you, blah blah, stupid conditions. Missions. I don't want missions or any of that. I just want a race. Straightforward, go faster than them, win the race. Straightforward, kill more of them, you win. Straightforward, capture their base, you win. No silliness, no artificial nonsense that you get in some games. I'm trying to think of another example and I can't, though. Yeah. That's the one that comes to mind though, was Need for Speed Shift. It's so artificial, it's so... I'd seen videos of the game and thought that looks excellent, and this was before Gran Turismo 5 came out. I thought, oh, I want to buy that. That looks like as near to it as to Gran Turismo as is out at the moment. Sound was fantastic, graphics were great, it was racing. I didn't get it in the end until very recently, and I played it once, or was it twice? I think it's actually only once, and since deleted it off of the hard drive, removed the installation because it pissed me off so much, because I just wanted to race and it wouldn't let me. It kept cramming in stupid objectives. Okay, 9. This is mainly sports games, though there are other things that are guilty of it as well. I would say sports games, FIFA, that are released year after year after year after year. You could say Call of Duty as well, but the thing with the Call of Duty is there are different missions to a degree, different scenery, things that would warrant buying the game again. But how many different ways can you present a football game? Why have... I think I've only ever played FIFA. I've got one actually that I haven't played yet on the Dreamcast, and I must play that. I think it's on the Dreamcast. Anyway, I've got it. I was given it. Was that one of the... I think that may... Oh, I've been given games by several people now. Anyway, I think that was Ninja Bear Hug. I haven't played that one yet. Anyway, I think unless there has been a major step in technology, like there's a new console, you shouldn't need more than 1 or 2 versions of a football game over the lifetime of that console. Yeah, they get a new strip and maybe some new players every year, so make it downloadable. Don't release a whole new bloody game. It's just football. The end result is, when you go along to your second-hand game shop or your charity shop or your cash converters and you go to look at the second-hand games, interesting games that you might want to play, there are that many. FIFA bloody football, the shelf is bending under the weight of them because the people have bought the latest one and flogged off or whatever, given away their old one. And who wants to play them? Obviously the people who buy them don't, because they bloody given them away or sold them. It's like, I don't know, they've become disposable, valueless through oversaturation. It's stupid. It pisses me off. I wish they wouldn't do it. I wouldn't mind if it was a genre that I liked. Yeah. If the shelves in the second-hand shops and the charity shops were weighed down with racing games or first-person shooters or classic arcade compilations, I'd be a happy chappy, but I just don't give a crap about football. Okay, number 10. I won't need to say any more than the 4 words I've got written here, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just not even going to explain anymore. Number 10 in 10 things I hate about gaming. That blue fucking shell. That's all I've got to say about that. I've got a shout out now. Here we go then. Now I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this, so I'm going to say BrianPicchi. Pitchy? I'm going to say Pitchy because Peachy just sounds a bit princess-ish, and I'm sure he's not a princess. BrianPicchi, the Apple II GS game reviews. Actually, there's no the, it's just Apple II GS game reviews. And what do you find on here? I bet you can guess. Apple II game reviews, or GS game reviews. Lots of them. Well, quite a few. 106. I haven't looked at all of them, obviously. Well, it's not obvious, but no, I haven't. But I have watched quite a few. If I'm not greatly mistaken, he makes some of these games himself. My first Applesoft, my second Applesoft. game thing. I watched that Dogfights one. So he's programming some of these games himself. Some of them are games from yesteryear. Some you will recognise, some you won't. Or at least you will if you're into Apple games. In fact, some were multi-format, like Out of This World, that's multi-format. And it's not all game reviews or gameplays. Actually, they are reviews in your classic sense. He really does do proper in-depth reviews, goes into some detail in a very clear manner. There is no stylized, exaggerating kind of character role-playing nonsense. It's just, here he is, he plays the game and he talks about it in detail, tells you the good points, the bad points, what he likes about it, what he doesn't like about it. It's not all game reviews though. I love this. He's got it's a Panasonic old 70s portable TV and radio thing, the kind of thing that you would take camping back in the 70s. Super Mario Brothers LCD Game & Watch, and lots of Apple II and Apple II GS. It's not all GS, but I believe he's playing them on a GS. Yeah, Apple II GS peripheral cards. You get the occasional pickups video. I have no idea what that computer is, but it looks funky and old, which is good. Yeah, lots of game reviews. What's that? It's some kind of glorified fancy calculator by the look of it. I haven't watched that one, so I don't know. See, the way I do these shout-outs is I find a channel, I watch a few of the videos, and you can tell within watching a couple of videos whether you like a channel or not, if you like the way they're doing what they're doing, without actually having necessarily watched all of the videos, because in no way have I watched all of his videos, but I've watched enough to know I like what he does. Apple Mac 2 SI with radius something or other, and I don't know what the next word is. Another LCD Game & Watch type thing. It's great, and he's got this very... His style is direct to the point, no messing about, and it works perfectly. I find it very refreshing, and you're not sitting there. Do you ever watch a video and you're thinking, come on, get to the point, stop messing around? Probably billions of people, well, not billions, probably lots of people think that whilst watching mine, because I digress all over the place, and some people I know like that, and some people are probably thinking, God, I wish he'd get to the point. This guy gets to the point, and I like that. So there you are. I don't think I can say much more about it. It is what it is. Apple II GS game reviews with a few other bits in there as well. Hardware type stuff. Great channel. I recommend it. BrianPicchi. Link down there as per usual. Yeah, right. Turning the camera around again now. Well, hey, that's the white balance all messed up. I look like a... I don't know, tangerine or something. Is it sorting itself out? Who cares? Closing comments. Yeah. For the next week, more of the same. I am going to continue doing the Commodore 64 stuff. I am going to most definitely try and cram in at the very least a couple of those Xbox games, because I will play all of them eventually, but I want to cram them in. I'm trying to get a load of stuff done this week, and probably after next week's Friday Talkie, I have to take a hiatus at some point in the near future, because I'm spending time doing these videos, and I'm not spending enough time doing my website. And the idea is I do the gameplay videos to embed on my website, and I'm finding I haven't got the time to work on the website, and I need to. So I'm going to, not this week coming, but probably the week after, I'm going to take a hiatus of 1, maybe 2 weeks to work on the website. That's the plan now. It might change. Yeah. But it is only a short temporary thing, 1 to 2 weeks. It's not me saying, I quit, because I most certainly don't, because I love doing this. You know, I have various reasons for doing this, but the main one is I love doing it. It's fun. Yeah, but I do have other things I've got to do, and for a short time at least I will do them. But that's not yet. This week, more of the same. And I think that's everything now, so I'm going to shut up. Oh, no, wait. There's this. I was going to point that way or that way, but that doesn't make sense because it's coming directly after me. Here's this. Watch this promo. Right, thank you for watching.
Allow me to very rapidly introduce myself. Hello, I'm Jim, and this is my gaming channel with an emphasis on first impressions. Welcome. I have a few different series, all with live commentary as I play the games. Overlooked oldies, subscriber requested retro games that are new to me. Ain't played in ages, returning to games for the first time in many years and sharing my nostalgia. Pseudo retro, games that combine the best of the old and the new. And other shit thrown in too. Also, I say bad words. Most of the videos are fairly brief looks at the games, but I have some long plays such as Eye of the Beholder and Star Control 2. All this can be found in the playlists on my main channel page. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoy my channel.